in a kind of an economic sense. Christy? What's utility? And it's not the electric bill or the water bill in this case.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Is it what?
Satisfaction or the benefit you get?
Satisfaction or benefit. Economists. I mean, it is kind of satisfaction, benefit, usefulness. An economist would describe the great date you had last night as having positive utility. So it's an event with positive utility. So doesn't that sound exciting? Makes you want to go out and do it again. Did you have positive utility? Good. And so, but that's kind of the notion of this utility. And we can measure that. I mean, not all, it doesn't work as well with the engine. Because without an engine, a motorcycle becomes a bicycle. So does an engine have utility for Harley-Davidson motorcycles? Yes. They become Harley-Davidson cycles rather than Harley-Davidson motorcycles. And so, but there are things you can slap on a motorcycle, particularly a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, that would not provide utility for the end user customer. Too many fancy bells and whistles and gadgets would be unappealing to them. And so, no utility, low utility. Okay? How are we doing for time? Not too shabby. Did anybody know that Harley-Davidson motorcycles, a substantial proportion of them, I don't know how large that proportion is, are made in Kansas City? They're actually manufactured in Kansas City? Up by the airport. Actually, very little production, in fact, I don't believe there's any final production that actually happens in Milwaukee anymore. They make engines and do R&D, and that's where corporate offices are, but they're made in Pennsylvania and Kansas City. And if you look at the serial number, somewhere on the serial number, they've got either, I think, a KC or either an MO or a PA, or I don't know what their lingo is, but they've got, you can see, yeah. You learned something today. Brandon will remember that much better than anything else.
Can you make that a test question?
Anything else I talk about today.
Just K. Something serial number K.
It's what?
K, just the letter K.
Just the letter K is
My dyno was
Kansas City?
Kansas City.
Okay. And then what's the letter for the other place?
Pennsylvania is probably the letter of the town that it's manufactured.
Okay, so it's a K. It's a what letter?
Well,
We said K, or P, but if it's K, it's K.
Yeah, it's the city. It's probably the city letter, not a state letter. We don't know. You might have to find that out.
I'll look it up and I'll let you know next time.
Please, along with you got a lot of to-dos for next class period.
Popcorn.
And how many times I called your name in that class. And so what this is describing is, I need to tell a story first. I need to tell a story. Okay? So I'm going to split you the same way, just because you kind of got used to that last time. So we'll split you this, right here. Okay? And so you all are making, and I always do this on the left. The group on the left is always blue ink pens. Okay? You're making blue ink pens. Okay? So far, so good? Not too complicated? Okay? You all are making, you're more colorful, as it were, and you are making blue, black, and since we're at the University of Central Missouri, red ink pens. Okay? So far, so good? You got it? Okay. Blue ink pens, you're making 1 million pens a month, let's say. And just to make the math really easy, let's say it's costing $1 million in total to make 1 million blue pens. So how much is the cost per pen? $1. That was rough, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. That's what I was after. I was after really, I'm sorry?
I don't have my calculator on. Yeah. Glad you told me.
$1 a pen. So now what we've got going on here, though, is you folks are making, let us say, 700,000 blue pens, 250,000 black pens, and how many do I need left? 50,000 red pens, okay? But then the numbers are the same. $1 million, 1 million pens. So what's the average cost per pen? The average cost per pen is, you're making this too hard, $1. Right, Tony? Okay. $1. How confident are you of your calculation?
Pretty good.
Michael?
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty confident? It's good to hear Michael confident. Because I get a lot of I don't knows. I've gotten a lot of I don't knows this semester from Michael. So I really enjoy hearing him say, yes, we're good. Okay? Now, let's assume we're going to be, let's, a couple of assumptions. One, we've just got one production line. Okay, so they're basically identical factories, one production line, one production line. Cost of all, I mean, don't make this too complicated. Cost of all the inks are the same. Cost of the plastic casings are the same for all the colors. But do you still think every pen is going to cost the same? Why not? Anybody? What do you still have to do here that you don't have to do here? You have to change out the colors. Is that equally easy? It's not equally easy. And plus, what do you have to do with the cost of the changing out of the colors? You have to assign it to the individual products. So which of those colors will be the most expensive? The red. Because you got to change out the color for only 50,000 units. Which one's going to be the cheapest? The blue. You change out the color for, what did I say? 700,000 units. For 700,000 units, okay? So that concept is what this is talking about. And so we used, really most technically, we're using process costing here. A very, very simple version of process costing, just taking total cost divided by the number of units. We have $1 per unit. Here, process costing is what gives us process, or even to some extent, I suppose you could think of it as job order costing, gives us $1 per unit. It's activity-based costing that gives us a more precise calculation of cost. And so that's what this graph is talking about. So at $1 per unit, which color was over-costed? Blue had too much cost assigned to it, right? In the original assignment. Which color was under-costed, didn't have enough cost assigned to it? Red. That's what this is describing. When you switch from job order costing to activity-based costing, what you find is that blue pens, the high-volume, least complex products and services, are overcosted by as much as 50 to 200% when you go from job order costing to activity-based costing. And red pens, low volume, more complex products and services are undercosted by as much as 1,000% by traditional costing systems. Isn't that right, Pamela? Yes. And so that's where activity-based costing can really help us out some. I know it's not quite as exciting as some of my other classes. Brandon was really stoked about being in class today, and here I am not delivering on as much fun as I might normally. I mean, look at poor Shar here in the front row. I mean, Alex is rubbing off on Shar.